Well, this video is for my first grade teachers. I actually looked back in my history of videos and I realized I steered more towards second through fifth grade and I didn't really hit my primary teachers. So my goal is this year to focus more on K1 and KN1 and even some things that are more appropriate for the beginning of second grade. So what we're going to talk about is fact fluency. I'm going to do a series of fact fluency videos, and hopefully you can kind of see some ideas or take away some ideas on how to use manipulatives and frames, rec and recs, and all of those things to build a conceptual understanding of fluency within your students. The other idea here is to build flexibility with numbers. So it's not necessarily about students memorizing or having a rote, abstract understanding of fluency, but to have a conceptual understanding so that later they can decompose numbers in many different ways and not just know, for example, that 8 and 4 is 12, but how did they get that? What different ways could they come up with in order to understand that 8 and 4 make 12? So here I have a game called Fill the Frame. So we're using a 10 frame. And by the way, let me just kind of let you in on some of the resources I'm using. So you might be new to my method here. I use Math Learning Center. Math Learning Center is a website that allows teachers to use free apps, and the apps are let's see here, are manipulative based. So Math Learning Center bridges free math apps, and here you go. So you have fractions, geoboards, money pieces, academic vocabulary cards, number frames, which is what we'll be using. We'll also be using the number rack. Then there's base 10 blocks, these two here. There's number lines and pattern shapes. Okay, and then the other app that I'm using is actually called Will Decide, and it's a random spinner maker. Okay, so the website is Will Decide. So the way this goes is, and I'm going to also share some guiding questions with you that you can use, is that the students would have a 10 frame, a mat, and a spinner. And they would spin the spinner. Okay, so we're going to spin our spinner here, and I already put all the numbers 1 through 10 on the spinner. So I just click on the spinner. I rolled the number 8. And so I would ask, how is the number 8 represented on the 10 frame? And the student would be responsible for pulling some counters out and putting them on the 10 frame to show 8. Okay, this is great for a first grade student, and we'll talk about why in a second. So then I would ask the student, so if you spun 8, how many more do you need to make 10? And then the student would find a different color and represent how many more was needed to make 10. From there, I would prompt the student to use a marker to fill in the 10 frame, and preferably the color that matches that adding in. So I'm using red for the number 8 and 2 for the number blue to show that 8 and 2 make 10. Now, from here, what we could do is I would prompt the student to record the second number in the add-in as we did, and then the third number to complete their number sentence for the 10 frame. And we would repeat these steps to make more addition facts. The focus here is only on 10. Obviously our system is a base 10 system, so we really want the students to focus primarily on the concept of 10. If they have a great understanding of 10, then what we really do is we build fluency in the students. So we really want to work with 10 first. Then we can go into doubles and near doubles and all of those other types of facts, but 10 is going to be the basis. So again, one more time, we have our spinner. The student only spins the spinner once. Okay, here the number is 1. So the student would need to represent that number on the 10 frame and record it in the appropriate color. And then I would ask the student, how many more do I need to make 10? Okay, and then that student would need to fill the remaining spaces with the opposite color. And you guys can use whatever two colors. This app only allows me to use red and blue. And so as a result, what happens is the students start to build an understanding of all of the facts that make 10. And again, this helps with flexibility of numbers a little bit later. So catch my next video. This is kind of building the foundation for first grade fact fluency, and then I'm gonna show you some other strategies that are used for fact fluency that build upon the students' understanding of this one.